Welcome, Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights. First part of a longer conversation with Rob Veras, who could not come to the hobby dinner. Thanks sponsors, Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, Heritage Auctions, Hug the Scott Auctions, Mike Staves Sports Cards, Burbank Sports Cards. Thank you, Rob. And ComC, Beckett Media, Beckett Grading, Beckett Authentication. Much longer conversation. This is a little bit longer than I usually have, but Rob is truly an icon in the industry and a great friend.
I did a video this morning, basically, is the hobby too expensive, and broke out the hobby side, the adrenaline rush of the gambling side, and just the hobby isn't too expensive, and it is too expensive depending on how you decide to partake in it. People ripping $400 boxes, yeah, the hobby's too expensive for a lot of people. People buying singles from that $400 box and getting what they want, hobby's not too expensive for those people. I just dove into that this morning. But
the Rob hobby versus the Ryan hobby?
Yeah, oh God, the Ryan hobby.
I'm saying he's in the high end and you're in the long tail.
Yeah, and it works out perfect. We do have that yin and yang.
But only one is overheated.
Yeah, that's true. We need a lot of bodies to create forever homes. And these things flip and flip. They've got to land with somebody eventually that's not going to be the one flipping it. We try to come in and be the final boss and put that card into the final person's hand. I think we do a pretty good job of that.
But not by price, but by how are you doing that? Are you giving a first chance or a head start to longtime collectors that have very focused needs? Are you giving them a better deal?
I think it comes down to the fact that we're buying the stuff, we're processing it in real time, and our website isn't like Beckett 2002. Our website's state of the art, and we're loading 500-600 premium cards every single day. And we have everybody subscribe to an email that notifies when that drop is, and everybody gets first shot. We're just so global anymore, and there's such a demand for certain cards. We just couldn't build this current system around, okay, these cards are only available to these people for this amount of time. And sometimes you got to look at the bigger picture, and we've just had to change a lot of things to be as much everything to everybody as possible.
Well, the flipper people are the most aggressive, because they're combing the sites looking for things that they can mark up and resell. You can't check their motive at the door. How do you know if your intent is to try to get these cards into the hands of the end user, of the passionate collector that's going to cherish it?
Probably most cases, it's not going to the end consumer, because these repackers are buying it for $100 to fractionalize it at $140 for that chance for someone to get a $1,000 card, when chances are they're getting a $60, $70 card. So they can pay retail prices to do that. Even the people going through my quarter boxes or my dollar boxes, I like to think a lot of them are going into the final hands, but still those people are going on Whatnot and trying to turn those quarters into $2 and basically create a COMC model for themselves. But I think we do a better job than anybody else of actually getting more cards into collectors' hands than anybody else.
Because you become a place where collectors can go regularly and know that you have a steady influx. In other words, not looking all over the world, looking at Burbank to say, they're eventually going to get what I really want to collect, but they've got to be ready to pounce on it, Rob. Are they?
We do create the urgency line simply because everybody's getting access all at once, because they know that we have the quote unquote Beckett inventory that we load every single day. We're going to be reloading 25 Bowman Chrome. We're going to be reloading 24-25 Prism. And that's a constant thing as well. I'm a retailer. I've got 35, 40 people. I got 18,000 feet. I got a global clientele that literally it's bucket list for a lot of people. And they come here to collect cards and spend the time, go through the boxes. As someone going to the league sites in the next 2 weeks, putting cards on BaltimoreOrioles.com and NewYorkIslanders.com, that those folks will be the final resting place for these cards. And through Beckett Marketplace and the 8 million cards we've sold there, I guarantee 95% of them aren't being flipped. Maybe the higher end things you see go through here might still have some life with other people, just because repacks, they're not paying 95% to sell it for 100%. That's not what they're doing. You really can't do the volume enough, and you can't secure the fact that 100% might be worth only 90%. A week from now, when you go to try to flip it or put it in a repack, that's 2 weeks out.
It's 100% of false comp.
It's 100% of the comp that you try to manipulate it to be.
Just saying.
Yeah. Ryan and my buying team kind of live in that world when the big, bulky, nasty things come through. It's kind of living in my world.
Are you still buying bulk? Because when I've been there, it seems like you have a steady stream of people. They're not bringing in pallets. They're bringing in a Zion case. But are you still buying bulk?
It really doesn't seem to almost exist anymore. We buy triple shoes all day long, and it's mostly a mix of modern, mixed by sport, mixed by attribute. We take that stuff in all day long. But as far as that U-Haul or that Suburban with just stuff, we really haven't seen much of that post. I'm not sure where all that stuff got consumed, but we're not really being asked to go to houses to see it. And it's not really finding me. I think you'll appreciate this. Our biggest problem is our processing team cannot seem to get before 2023 anymore when it comes to processing cards because there's such an avalanche of new stuff coming through. That is the highest priorities. But I have 3 triple shoes of 2010 football in the back, all inserts, rookies, parallels, refractors, jerseys, patches, whatever. We'll never get back to working on 2010 finest football. And so we're redistributing it to the showroom and building out jersey auto boxes at $3 a piece. And it's more profitable for me to sell those cards in the showroom at $3 than it is to list them at $5 by the time you're done with all the labor, the fees, the pulling, the free shipping. We have such a massive amount of folks coming in the store that things are being repurposed. How they come in, how it might have worked at the old store 5 years ago is not how it's working today. The Gronkowski rookies sitting back there, now they're getting priced at $6 and going into the football rookies as priced. Now you've got your DeMarco Murray, Topps rookies that are flat buck that go in the rookie boxes there. A lot of the stuff that after we're done doing it and pulling the Moss, Garrett, Revis dual jerseys, really all that's left is a lot of the parallels to 100 of common players, and everything else we're really finding a way to get into the showroom in some way, shape, or form, which is exciting, and getting good prices for the stuff as well. People want to put their hands on cards at the end of the day.
I think I've been doing better lately in the last year with team lots over player lots. That people like the mix of favorite players from their teams rather than just a whole bunch of cards of the same player. And so my thinking is if you have 100 Jose Cansecos, it goes to somebody that wants to flip them or I'm going to buy them and parse them out. But if it's 100 Oakland A's cards of that vintage that might have some Cansecos in there, they like that better and it sells better and it may even sell it for higher. And it might go to an end user, which I'm totally of that sentiment with you.
Yeah. The work we do on Collectors Court, we have hundreds of thousands of cards by year and by sport. That's where those people can really take a deep dive in those types of things where you're not just getting a random 100 Oakland A's. You know what? You can look at 1974 Topps and pull your Oakland A's. You can look through 2025 and find chrome of the Oakland A's. To me, anyways, that's a better experience. You're getting the actual cards you want, and you have that sense of discovery, and just putting your hands on cards is vital. That's why we're not on eBay for the most part anymore, and our singles really aren't anywhere anymore. And to be honest, it's been a godsend since we've been here that we haven't had all that stuff on there, because eBay really, at the end of the day, isn't super profitable for us on the micro transactions. Those people in the back pulling orders have been in the showroom selling things that are far more money. Our average transaction is over $100 in the showroom, where on Beckett, it might have been $8. Yeah. And we're going to have that stuff online. It's going to anchor Fanatics Collect. It's super close to going live, where I'm not competing against 140 people on the same card. And if you can sell it for 99 cents in a plain white envelope, you're going to get the sale, as opposed to someone that's $1.99 and not plain white envelope.
I thought that was announced like a year ago, because I know you're a thorough guy and you've got volume beyond comprehension, but what's going on there? Because I think that's going to be a breakthrough.
It's going to change my business forever. A lot of it was on Beckett's end, but more of it was on Fanatics' end, because they underestimated what it was going to take to revamp their platform. They weren't just using PWCC's platform. They were building a brand new one. And it took longer than they thought. Beckett wasn't quick with anything or at the top of the technology chain. So we announced it at the National last year, and they've been paying me a lot of money to not sell cards as they want to keep me whole in this whole situation.
Yeah.
So they've been writing some big checks. And
how can I get that deal?
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I love that,
Wow.
bro. How'd you do that?
You're losing $500,000 in revenue a month.
Wow.
Selling cards on eBay. And this was supposed to be done 10 months ago.
Yeah.
A good partner looks at that and says, you know what, this is on us. We need to take care of you on this. They didn't make me completely whole on this. I lost a lot of customers. I got a lot of cards that are sitting. But once it's done, Fanatics Collect, we'll be by ourselves on there. And that really is based on people selling more expensive cards. We're going to cover the entire long tail on that site, not compete on every single card. And then we'll be on Fanatics, where, you bought a Mookie Betts jersey. How about these cards?
Yeah.
And then we're going to be on all the team sites. And there's 700 different affiliate sites that we're going to be on for cards. So it's worth the wait. And we've been able to build this place out with all of this labor that now has got moved to the showroom from the warehouse. And we've been able to build something that is unique. And now that it's pretty much the way I want it, we can take some of these people back to the warehouse and do more scanning, do more loading, do more everything. We've got 100,000 plus cards, Jim, that are unique from just 2024. That doesn't include quantities. It's over 100,000 unique cards 1 year. It's insane. I process it. That's because we've been focusing 23 to 25. And once that stuff goes live across that platform, it's going to be ridiculous.
People don't understand, but that's why I have so much fun in the dollar boxes. Because there is 100,000 different cards, many of which I've never seen or I think are interesting. And frankly, in some cases are undervalued in a sense. For the patient seller, which you are and I am, the patient seller can do really well with that. But I define patience by months and years. The new collector defines patience in terms of seconds and minutes. They're flipping it the same day.
We enjoy going through those boxes, and I'm here 11 hours a day because I really enjoy what I do. It takes that effort to do what we do, but you go through those dollar boxes and you lose $5 or $6 in your world. And that's a lot of fun. Eventually. But my job is to get my cards in front of as many eyeballs as possible and to be that only source for those cards, whether it's in my showroom or whether it's where we're putting these cards. And I don't think eBay is the answer like it was. I think you're seeing more and more different marketplaces being created, more and more large sellers leaving that platform. We asked for different things over the years and got none of them. And it's a company that, unfortunately, their ship is so big for them to turn in any direction is almost impossible. And it's almost impossible to do it for just one category because of the way their software works. They'd have to do it for every category.
But if it was possible, it may not be prudent for them, but they're huge. They can't run a business that way. I think you've been nimble. I've tried to be nimble back in the day. Is that as you get bigger and bigger, you can get more corporate and institutional and this structure that's monolithic and all that. And you've seemed to be able to roll with the technology and the new opportunities. And I try to do that too. But eBay is on another level of complexity. And frankly, so is Fanatics. So I'm pleased if you're hearing that Fanatics is responsive, even if they're not able to meet their original deadlines, they're going in the right direction. Is that what you're saying?
I believe so. They've bent over backwards. What they're doing for me, they're not doing for anyone else.
They'll do that for anybody that is like you. There is nobody like you. For a special case, if you had a clone, then that'd be different. But there's nobody else that does what you do. You're the leading guy in what you do.
They want to build out the long tail, but they don't want a million different people doing that. They want one person they can trust that gets the orders out quick and keeps things fresh. But they're trying to be everything to everybody, and they're trying to take all the crumbs off the table. They're no longer using distributors. When products appreciate, they make those profits instead of selling it once and letting everybody else. And that's smart business. It's not your job to produce something and have everybody else make the money off that product over and over again. not when you
Well,
pay for the
unless you
licenses.
think that this is a community, there's an ecosystem, and leaving a little meat on the bone was what was always done back in the old days.
Sure, of course.
But now it's a new world. And it's the reason why not just these young guys, but they got to pounce on something. They get it earlier. And they're in effect intermediating in a sense that if there's no distributor, they're becoming distributors. The flipper is a distributor of sorts. The only problem is what's inflating the prices is they're not buying at wholesale. They're buying at yesterday's retail, hoping that tomorrow's retail is higher. And they're making it higher because of the excess demand and optimism.
With breaking, you can take a $400 box and make it $600 artificially and slice and dice things and be able to keep paying more and more money for products. For retailers, it's 20% margins right now. Your margins are razor thin compared to where they were 5 years ago. And a lot of people have stopped stocking the product because Fanatics is selling it themselves, and you're trying to match what their pricing is. And it's a new world. And that's why you need to insulate yourself from Fanatics, from eBay, from Amazon, and just do things that they simply won't do or can't do for that matter. And that's what we try to build here.
Or bet on the fact that the 20% margin that is probably based on the SRP, again, you've got to go in the other direction too, but that margin can greatly increase if you're smart about what to sell immediately and what to hold just a little bit for the second wave. The flagship Topps basketball, you shouldn't have sold that immediately. And so knowing that, and it's not an exact science because you want to serve your customers.
And that's just it. It's not a business where you can buy an unlimited amount at one price. You might get 2 cases in as a dealer. If you don't have that product, when they want that product, guess what? They go to someone else that's going to sell them that product. So it's really hard to hold back things in the retail space. If you're sold out, it's problematic these days on these new products. And for a lot of dealers, the proximity is why a lot of these people shop these stores, because they're close and they'll have that new product. If you don't have it, it's not good. When you go to replace it, your margins are razor thin, and you don't really hear about people holding stuff back anymore because they don't get enough of it. Fanatics has really looked at distribution and said, yeah, you might have got 10 cases, but in this world, you're getting 2.
In the old days, most of your business was singles. Is it still, or are you increasingly doing wax? Because you'd be a preferred placement for Fanatics, Panini, Upper Deck to be in your beautiful new store and everything with your wall of new stuff. Is your mix changing?
Our numbers are skewed in so many different ways now. Ryan has a better idea what all the numbers look like, but I got a full-time guy that does nothing but product, and we can get 40 or 50 boxes or cases in per day. And everything's so different. Our box sales are staggering, and we sell more Pokemon sealed than baseball, basketball, or football now. It's hard to think that we're actually having this conversation, but a lot of the stuff's out of my hands now, and it's in Ryan's hands, and he's really good at stocking. We have the room now to do crazy things. We've got digital signage where literally you're looking at things, and from our computers, we can change the price at the register, on the wall, and on the website simultaneously. We sell more singles, but revenue, we had someone drop 40K on wax yesterday, and it's not like an anomaly anymore to do those types of things.
End user or another store?
End user. Yeah, just ripping product. I'd love to have you out here on a Saturday, Jim, just to take a look at the clientele. We can have 150 people in here at the same time. It's absolutely insane to see just how busy it gets. And it's really fun seeing what people are doing within the store. Are they in the quarter boxes? Are they in line at PSA? Are they lined up to sell to our buyers? Are they in the vertical showcases buying $500 cards? Are they ripping product and pulling these singles and walking over to PSA, and how they engage? Or maybe they don't even come in the store at all. They're just taking a selfie in front of the Shohei mural, just curious. And they just walk in with no intentions of buying anything. They just want to see what the hubbub's about.
To go into Disneyland, but not riding the rides, just going up and talking to the characters and leaving. I don't understand that.
Our location, we spent a lot of money on this place. We were going to move to a place smaller. Then you think about it, we're probably going to move again in 5 years. This space is the best location in the city. Porto's restaurant across the street. It's probably the #1 eatery in LA. The airport is down our street one way. The studios are down our street the other way. We got 70 parking spots and this building with a huge canvas for us to create these murals, which was Sally's idea. And Shohei is about 1,300 square feet. The Kobe LeBron 2008 Topps mural is closer to 2,000 square feet. And they stop traffic. Things that we do now, we aren't pigeonholed in the way we used to be. This is the way we do it because this is the way we've always done it. We don't think that way anymore.